राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तेरा वनचारी यशोदा यमुना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तेरा वनचारी यशोदानंदन जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Radha Ramana Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Gopala Govinda Jaya Gopala Jaya Madhava Dina Daya Jaya Madhava Dina Daya Jaya Govinda Jaya Gopala Jaya Govinda Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Shyam Jaya Jaya Shri Vrindavan Dham Jaya गोविंद गोविंद गोपाल नंदलाल गोविंद गोविंद गोपाल नंदलाल जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय वृंदावन श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय वृंदावन श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन नित्याय गौरंग जय नित्याय गौरंग नित्याय गौरंग जय नित्याय गौरंग गौरंग जय नित्याय गौरंग नित्याय गौरंग जय नित्याय गौरंग हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि 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 बोल जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय गुरुदेव जय श्रील गुरुदेव 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 पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन की श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की श्री श्री गौर निताई की श्रील प्रभुपाद की समावेत भक्त वृंद की श्री वृंदावन धाम की ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादि पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Welcome all of you for the Vrindavan Yatra.
హరే కృష్ణ. హరే కృష్ణ. ఎవరికైనా రేడియో ఎఫ్ఎం రేడియో కావాలంటే అక్కడ టేబుల్ మీద అమ్ముతున్నారు. తెలుగులో ట్రాన్స్లేషన్ ఎవరికైతే ఎఫ్ఎం రేడియో కావాలో అక్కడ టేబుల్ మీద అమ్ముతున్నారు.
Tell the number, you can tell.
No, that radio set they are selling. If anybody doesn't have these frequencies, 88.3 frequency, 88.3. Hare Krishna.
How many of you are coming to Vrindavan Yatra for the first time? Oh, good number. Very good. Okay. First of all, we want to offer our humble obeisances at the lotus feet of our spiritual master and also Srila Prabhupada, by whose mercy we are given entrance into this holy abode of Vrindavan. According to scriptures, one should not go to a holy place only for sightseeing and for a change or for just roaming around and coming back. But one should go to a holy place for hearing about the pastimes of the Lord and the valuable instructions and teachings from saintly persons. There is one song, Shuddha Bhakta Charana Renu. In that song, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Gaura Amara Sesabastana Korelu Brahmana Range Sesabastana Heribo Ami Pranayi Bhakata Sange Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula Bhakata Seva Paramasiddhi Premalati Karamola. He's saying that Gaura Amar Jesavastane, Korila Brahmana Range. I will go to all the holy places where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has visited. But I will not go alone. I will go in the company of other devotees. And also I will go in the company of saintly people who will show us those places and tell us the significance of those places. And then visiting those places would make sense. We will be able to appreciate the Dham. Also, in every holy abode of Krishna or Vishnu or Ram, you will find there will be a Shiva temple also. You will find. Why there is a Shiva temple? Shiva is called as a Dhampal. Dhampal means he is a protector of the Dham. So anybody enters into the Dham, initially Shiva does not give access to them. He wants to test you whether you have come to Dham with a Seva Bhav or you have come to Dham with a Bhoga Bhav. What is your intention in coming to the spiritual abode? So somebody is coming with a spiritual desire that I want to purify my heart, I want to glorify the Lord, I want to advance in my spiritual life, I want to take one further step in my spiritual life. Let me go beyond this material world and go to the spiritual world someday. And here let me gather some spiritual inspiration in the association of various devotees. If that is the mood, then Lord Shiva will remove the covering from the Dham and he will expose you to, the realities of the spiritual abode, which will be accessible to you more and more. And if Shiva sees that the mentality is demanding or complaining or arguing or fighting or angry mood, non-cooperating, and struggling oneself and making others struggle, then Shiva will cover the dham with the covering. Then what we will see? We will see the pigs and the dogs and the monkeys and the nasty road and the dusty streets. And we may feel the yatra to be burdensome when if Shiva covers our vision. So just like in the altar also there is a door. The door opens from outside or from inside? The altar door. It opens from inside. Who opens it? Now the altar door in any ISKCON temple, who opens it? Pujari. But Pujari opens it on the inspiration of the Lord. Lord tells the Pujari, now you open the door. Then he opens and gives darshan to all of us. Isn't it? Similarly, when we come to the holy abode, the revelation of the spiritual truths is made possible by Shiva and the spiritual master. They will make us get a vision of the holy abode. So, many of you are coming for the first time to Vrindavan Yatra. Vrindavan is a very, very sweet abode and very, very special abode amongst all the abodes. There is one verse in the Nectar of Instruction which begins like this: Vaikunta Janito Vara Madhupuri, and that's a verse. It says that better than Vaikunta is Madhupuri or Mathura. It says. And then it'll say, in Mathura, better than Mathura is the Vrindavan Dham. Better than Vrindavan is Govardhan. And better than Govardhan is Radhakund, which is situated in the foot of Govardhan, which we will be visiting also. In this way, amongst the abodes, different abodes, in many Vaikuntha planets we call, amongst them, the Goloka is the topmost. And there is a reason for that. Why we call it as the topmost? Because in Vaikuntha, the mood is one of very great reverence to Lord Vishnu. Similarly, in the Saket Dham, there is a great reverence to Lord Rama, great respect. Whereas when you go to Krishna's abode, there is a great intimacy. I heard a interesting lecture by His Holiness Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj. He was making a comparison in that lecture based on the scriptures. He said, Lord Narasimha is extremely mighty and powerful. He jumps out of a pillar and he breaks open the belly of Hiranyakashipu and kills him on the spot. So he said, Narasimha is very mighty. He is very fearsome to look at. He comes in a lion face and a human-like body. But he said, although Narasimha is very powerful, he also produces fear in the Devatas. We develop fear when we see him. We agree that he is very powerful. All Devatas were trembling when he appeared in this world. So then he went to say that Lord Rama is powerful but very beautiful also. He is not fearsome. Lord Rama alone took a bow and arrow and killed 14,000 Rakshasas in Janasthan, where he killed Kara and Dushan, and 14,000 soldiers. Only one Rama, single-handedly he did that. But although Lord Rama is killing so many Rakshasas, when you look at Ram, he has a very beautiful face. His three mothers used to call him as Ramachandra. Ramachandra means, oh Rama, whose face is as cooling as the full moon. So they used to call him as Ramachandra. He had a very handsome form. So nobody would become frightened by seeing Ram. Rama is mighty, but very beautiful. At the same time, he said, Rama may be beautiful, but Krishna is more merciful than Ram. Krishna is powerful also. He shows a Vishwarupa Darshan, you all know. Outside and inside his mouth, he showed the whole universe inside his mouth. Isn't it? Mother Yashoda. He is very powerful and he is also very beautiful. But at the same time, he is very merciful also. Why he is called very merciful, I'll tell you. One reason is Lord Rama only gave seva to the monkeys to build the Setu Bandha. But he didn't give them any remuneration. But Krishna told them, I only gave you seva in my previous incarnation as Ram. Now I will give you butter now as a remuneration. Now you eat. So he fed them a lot of butter. Yes, Krishna. So he's more merciful. So, remuneration giving leader you like, or leader who gives only seva you like? Which one? Correct. Now somebody gives you butter. There was one manager in Pune. If you do a nice service, he'll give you some Mahaprasad immediately. So everybody will cooperate. I was wondering how everybody cooperates, because he gives Mahaprasad a little bit. So Krishna said, Krishna is giving like that. Also, Krishna is more merciful. Why? When Shurpanaka came, Lord Rama saw that she is becoming envious of Sita. She was about to attack Sita. At that time, Rama told Lakshman, Lakshman, do the needful. Then Lakshman cut her nose and ears, right? And drove her away. She ran away, showing her ugly looking form. Later on in the next life, the same Pushpamnaka became Kubja in the next life. She was again very ugly looking, in the sense she had a hunchback with a stick in the hand. When Krishna was entering Mathura, Kubja with her hunchback, Kubdi, she came with a stick in the hand, shaking. And Krishna looked at her and joked about her to his friends. He said, "Oh, tall and beautiful looking young girl, where are you going?" he asked. She was not a young girl, she was an old woman. She was not tall, she was short. She was not beautiful, she was ugly. Still, Krishna joked about her like that. And actually, one of the Acharyas says it's not wrong on the part of Krishna to joke about her, because very soon he is going to make her beautiful and young and good looking. So she said, I'm taking chandan for Kamsa. Daily I take this. So Krishna said, if you apply this chandan to me and Balaram on our forehead, then your life will become fortunate, he said. And Kubja immediately, without hesitation, she took the chandan and applied to Krishna and Balaram. You can imagine how dangerous situation it is. Kamsa's henchmen, Kamsa's spies were always watching. Any spy can go and tell Kamsa that this is what she did. And Kamsa will arrange someone to cut off her head. Although there was a risk, she took the risk and served Krishna. Therefore Krishna says, Ma Shuchaha, he says. Where does he say that? Sarva dharman parityajya Mamekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. He says, surrender to me without any fear. That she did. She surrendered to Krishna without any fear. Then Krishna thought I should give something back to her. She has done a seva for me. Immediately put his foot on her foot and caught hold of her cheeks and jerked and then lifted her head like this, and immediately she became a young beautiful girl. So here, one Acharya says that Rama rejected Shurpanaka, but Krishna accepted her in the form of Kubja. So he is more merciful, he says. He didn't reject. And when Lord Rama went to Dandakaranya forest, at that time there were a lot of saintly people there, sages and rishis and munis living there. And they were all sitting and meditating. When they saw Ram, everybody got up. And they all went to meet Ram and offer obeisances and everything. So they saw Mother Sita cooking some prasad and offering to Ram. So they developed a great attraction for that. They thought that just like Sita is serving Ram, we also want to become females, like a consort of the Lord, and we also want to serve. Prabhupada says in one place, the female's body is made to very naturally serve the children, the husband and the parents and the elders and everybody. A woman has a natural propensity to serve. And Prabhupada said it one time in the flight also. One air hostess came and told Prabhupada, Swamiji, what will you take, veg or non-veg? She asked. Prabhupada said, nothing. I am carrying prasad with me. Then she again came back and asked, no, is it all right if I give you some papaya? Papaya fruit. Prabhupada said, okay, you bring it. So she cut and brought some papaya fruits. And then Prabhupada said, just see, she wants to serve. She has a natural propensity to serve. Although I said I don't want anything, still she wants to serve something. He said. So, when the sages saw Sita Mata's Seva Bhav, they also wanted to become like her. And Lord Ram knew very well, the sages can change their form at will. Suddenly imagine if all the sages became Matajis. And they said to Ram, we all want to marry you. Can Ram marry? Why he cannot marry? You take an Ekapatni bride. Lord Ram in advance only told them, oh sages, don't expect me to marry any of you. I already have a wife, he said, Sita, and I will not marry anyone else. So they all became morose. So we have no chance to serve Ram. Then he told them, when I come as Krishna, you all will become gopis at that time. So Chakravarti Thakur says that Krishna is more merciful than Ram. Ram refused to marry them, but Krishna accepted all of them, he says. All the gopis, and danced with them, sang with them. So they are called as Rishichari gopis or Munichari gopis, we call. So in this way, Lord Krishna is more accommodating, he says. He accepted all of them. He fulfilled the desire and allowed them to take on the female forms of gopis and sang with them, danced with them, and they were in ecstasy. And also, you all know that when Krishna killed on Diwali day, just 2 days ago, Krishna killed Narakasura, Bhaumasura, correct? No? And then opened the jail doors. And who was inside? 16,000 princesses from different parts of the world. Bhaumasura had captured all of them and brought them and kept them in the jail for many years. So Krishna opened the jail and said, oh princesses, you all belong to different kings. Go back to your parents and live happily. So none of them budged even an inch. They said, how can we go? They said, nobody will marry us. We have been captured by this Asura and brought here. We have no scope to get settled in life. Probably we will remain like this all our life. There's no point going home, they said. Then Krishna asked, then what do you want? They said, you only saved us. Why didn't you only marry us? And Krishna said, all right. He told all of them. And married all of them. And Prabhupada writes that you will see in the Srimad Bhagavatam, when he married all of them, he gave them all saris, ornaments to wear, a very nice palanquin, and nice golden chariots. And he gave each of them one palace in Dwaraka. And he expanded himself into 16,108 forms and lived with each of them also as the king. And they are all his pure devotees. So the Prabhupada says, they were like a rejected lot, but Krishna gave them life. Therefore, Krishna is more merciful. Not only that, when he expanded himself, he saw that some of those princesses were short. So Krishna also expanded himself short also. Some of them are tall, he also became tall. Some of them a little chubby, he was also chubby. He, like we say, made for each other. Like that Krishna expanded. And he married all of them. You can see that. So, in this way, Krishna is more merciful than Ram. Ram says, no, only Ekapatni Vrat. But Krishna accommodated 16,108 queens. You can see that. Another reason why Krishna is more merciful, if you see Ram, Vishnu, they all stand like this, like Vishnu standing with Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, erect he stands, correct, no? If you want to access the chinhas, chinha means symbols in the feet. How many of you have heard about the symbols in the feet of the Lord? You heard? Oh, good number of you heard, okay. See, some of the incarnations have 4 symbols only. Some have 8, some have 12, some have 16. Krishna has how many? Brahma says that in Padma Purana. Krishna has 16 symbols. All 16 symbols I saw in Krishna's lotus feet, like that he says. I will tell you about 2-3 symbols, you will get an idea. What is the advantage of those symbols? Each of those symbols signifies something. There is a thunderbolt in Krishna's lotus feet. What is the purpose of that? Play. Pranata dehina papakarshano pranataranugam Sriniketanam Panifanarpitam Te padambujam Pranakcheshunah Pradihratchayam Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The gopis are singing, my dear Krishna, anyone who takes shelter of your lotus feet, you will make the mountain of their sinful reactions into powder, they are saying. Because the thunderbolt, if you hit it on a mountain, it makes it into powder. So that is the power of the thunderbolt in your lotus feet. There is one more symbol, which is lotus. Lotus means if you become Krishna's devotee, you will be like a lotus. Which means lotus is surrounded by, muddy pool of water. Even in the material world, which has many nasty things going on, you will be like a lotus, unaffected by the material world. That's the meaning of that. There is another symbol, there is umbrella. Umbrella is for what? Like above Indra's head, there is umbrella, right? Umbrella is for respect. Even an average, ordinary person can become highly respectable if he becomes Krishna's devotee. Like in Pune, one devotee was telling me, recently he became a counselor in Pune. So after my interview, he said, Prabhuji, I have to reveal to you something very personal about me. And then he said, I was born in a slum, he said, in Pune. And my parents have cooked near the ditch, and we have lived in a chal. You know chal? Chal means a very simple house with no doors also. So he said there used to be dogs going in, coming out, dirty ditch, lot of mosquitoes. And we had practically no jobs. We were living in a, thatched house with steel sheets and things like that. That's where I was born. I was grown up in that family. He said, but I didn't get much education, he said. I did only 4th or 5th standard, and parents had no money. But he said, one day I saw the Harinam Sankirtan going in the streets. I ran to those devotees and I also followed them to the temple. I took some book from them, took some prasad. And then he said, then my life took a very big turn. I started chanting Hare Krishna, then I started 16 rounds. When I read Prabhupada's books, I understood what kind of life is this I am leading. I got awakened. Then he said, eventually, he went on to become a pandal making businessman over a period of time. And now he says he has a house, very close to the NVCC temple near Gaganonati. There's a place. He's got a big house. He has got 2-3 sisters. And they have a very huge house. And he said, materially and spiritually, I became very grown up in my Krishna consciousness. Now I cannot believe so many people respect me. I don't deserve this respect, he said. I come from a very, very low class background, he said. But Krishna, now he is wearing a beautiful tilak, he has kantimala, he wears neat dress, he goes in a very big posh car with his family members, and he comes to temple, and he is a very active organizer of a program in one of the counselor groups. And he himself is becoming counselor now. How people grow in their life when you come to Krishna consciousness. So you will see that in the same manner, all of us, we began this lifetime, with so many defects. But when you come to Krishna consciousness, you will completely become purified of all those things. You will become worshipable. There is one verse in the Vishnu Sahasranam Sutram, Lokanam Kirti Vardhanam. That is one of the Lokanam Kirti Vardhanam is used in the Vishnu Sahasranam, which means Lord expands the glories of his devotees. Therefore, the umbrella is mentioned. A very degraded person can become a very exalted person, like that. So like that, many symbols are there. There is also one flag you will find. Sorry, not flag, I mean fish in Krishna's lotus feet, below the lotus feet. What is a fish? It has two significances. One significance is the fish cannot live without water. Similarly, devotees cannot live without Krishna. Krishna's lotus feet is their ashray. Therefore, the fish is in the lotus feet of the Lord. Another meaning of the fish is, in the Madan, Madan Cupid, he has got a flag, insignia, which has got a fish in it. So when one becomes Krishna's devotee, Krishna knocks down the Madan's flag and stands on that. Therefore, he has a fish in the feet. Which means, anyone who becomes a Krishna's devotee can come out of the illusion of mad attraction for the opposite sex. One can conquer the illusions, moha of this world. That's the meaning of that. So in this way, Krishna has many symbols. Rama also has. Vishnu also has. But Rama and Vishnu, they keep their feet like this. Therefore, they are not considered as merciful as Krishna, who keeps his feet like this. You see Madan Mohan, how is he standing? See, how is Madan Mohan standing? So what Srila Vishnu Thakur says, Krishna is activating the 16 symbols, whereas Ram and Vishnu are keeping it in a dormant state. If you want their mercy, you have to go below their feet. Whereas for Krishna, he is activating it. Wherever you are, it will attack you. These 16 symbols, they'll protect you. So he says he is more merciful by keeping his lotus feet like this. So, and also Krishna is more merciful for one more reason. You see, Lord Vishnu is always a master. All his servants, any problem they have, you just go to Vishnu and fall at his feet and say, Sir, please protect me. He will protect you. Just like Samudra Manthanila, the Devatas and Asuras could not lift the mountain. So Vishnu said, move aside. Then he took the mountain and kept it on the Garuda. And on both the wings of Garuda, he kept all Devatas and Asuras and carried them to the milk ocean. If you have any problem, he's a problem-solving leader. Who? Lord Vishnu. Then after reaching there, they put the Mandara Parvat to do the churning. But then they didn't know, how will we churn? We don't have a rope. He said, don't worry, I'll get Vasuki just now. So he got the Vasuki as a snake rope. So he arranged for that also. Then when they tried to, do the churning, they were doing this. But then the mountain would go like this. Then Lord said, don't worry, I'll become a tortoise below. He became, what do you call that avatar? Kurma avatar. Okay, now the base was very strong, powerful. But the problem, the mountain was going like this. Then he sat at the top as another avatar called as Ajita avatar with 10 hands. You will see that. So Vishnu expands as Ajita. He expands as Kurma avatar. He provides facility. Any problem you have, you report to him and he can solve it. Later on, you will see that, Dhanvantari brought that Kalash, Amrita Kalash. That is also Vishnu only. Then the demon snatched it and took away. Then again he expanded one more form. What is that? Mohini Murti. You'll see that. So Vishnu is the problem-solving leader. He is always a master. Whereas Ram, you will find he will be more, compared to Vishnu, Ram becomes more intimate with his followers. Like for example, he can mix even with a Rakshasa's leader like Vibhishan. He can make friendship with even Sugriva, who is a Vanara's leader. He can make friendship even with the leader of boatmen. What's his name? Guha. He comes down from this level to this level. That's called Saushilita, we call it. But Krishna is considered even more intimate because Ram only makes connections with the leaders only. Because Vanara's leader is Sugriva. Rakshasa's leader is Vibhishan. He will not connect with people below the leader. Whereas Krishna will connect with even monkeys in Vrindavan, or peacocks, or birds, or deers, or cows, calves, anybody in Vrindavan. Everybody is connected to Krishna. You will see that. So it's called Saushilita, we call it. You have great personality becoming intimate with a very little personality. Then you feel very touched. So, like imagine if your spiritual master comes to you and asks you, what's your name? You will feel touched. Oh, my Guru Maharaj asked me. I am an ordinary person. That he came or he gave me a flower. Or he gave me some prasad. Correct? No? Only once in a lifetime, if it happens to you, you will be touched. Do you agree? Imagine there is not a single tree in Vrindavan which Krishna has not touched. There is not a single cow or calf which Krishna has not attended at all. In fact, Krishna would play on his flute and call Chamari, Rangini, Dabali, Hansini, like that he would call the names of the cows. So the cows would come running, having heard their names. Some cows would purposefully hide behind a tree even after hearing the name. Do you know why? Because they will want Krishna to call them for the second time. Because they liked hearing the name of their own name from Krishna's mouth. So, Therefore, Krishna is considered most merciful because of connecting with even the very, very little living entities of Vrindavan. Therefore, this abode is Madhurya Dham. Huh? It's a very, very sweet abode it is. So, Krishna is not just a powerful Lord. Krishna is not just a beautiful Lord. But Krishna is also a merciful Lord. And he is also very playful and sportive and naughty and mischievous. Actually, there is no difference between Vishnu, Ram and Krishna from Tattva point of view. Lord Chaitanya told this to Venkatabhatta. There is no difference. If anybody says Vishnu, Ram and Krishna are different, then he is an atheist. Like that Mahaprabhu told Venkatabhatta. No? One should not differentiate between them and make arguments or criticisms foolishly. All three are one person acting in triple forms, triple acting, the same Lord. Nevertheless, the difference is in rasa. For example, I can teach you mathematics by saying 2 mangoes plus 3 mangoes is 5 mangoes. Or I can say, 2 apples plus 3 apples is 5 apples. What is the difference? The count is same, but the difference is the rasa. So rasa and dealing with Vishnu, dealing with Ram, dealing with Krishna, that's where the difference lies. They are same personality. One personality acting in 3 roles. So it's like the Prime Minister in the Parliament and Prime Minister at home. There's a mood. That mood is the difference. So Vrindavan is actually in that sense a very, very sweet abode. Where to get entry into this abode, to understand this type of subject matter is not very easy for us. Unless Guru blesses us with his grace, then these kind of truths will become gradually evident to us, understandable to us. So, the mood of entering the Dham is depicted by one very great devotee called Akrura. You see, when Kamsa became very atrocious, many people fled out of Mathura. They didn't want to stay there. One of them was Rohini, correct, no? She left and came to Vrindavan. And Vasudeva told her to stay with Yashoda. But there were others who did not flee away. They stayed in Mathura. Do you know why? Do you think they liked Kamsa very much? They wanted to see Krishna's pastimes in Mathura later on. They knew very well, one day Krishna will come to kill Kamsa. That time we will get to see his beautiful pastimes. So they were ready to wait there. They were waiting there. So, there was one minister whose name was Akrura, working with Kamsa. So that minister was called by Kamsa, and Kamsa said, "Look at this new golden chariot, Akrura. I have purchased this for you. But you have to do one very important work. Take this chariot and go to Vrindavan and fetch those 2 boys to me. Bring those 2 fellows, Krishna Balaram. Because these 2 fellows have been practically notorious, indefeatable. I have sent so many demons. I sent Putana, after that I sent Shakatasura, and then Trinavarta. So many demons, Aghasur, Bakasur, so many of them. And every one of them only went to Vrindavan, they never came back. They were all finished there in Vrindavan. I think because these 2 fellows are hiding behind the bushes of Vrindavan, they are able to kill these people. Let them come out of those bushes to my area, which is Mathura, and I am sure I will finish them, he said. So he told Akrura, what do you think? Can you go and fetch them? See, Akrura is Krishna's devotee. Do you think he would want to see Krishna, mishandled like this? So, but Akrura knew very well that Kamsa won't be able to do what he is contemplating on. Kamsa was a very, very cruel personality. So he was telling, he said, Ugrasenam Staviram, he said. Ugrasena, my father, is a oldie, he said. And he said, Ugrasenam Rajya Kamukam, he said. That fellow he has a greed for the throne. He wants to rule. Although he's an old fellow, still he wants to sit on the throne. Like that he criticized his own father. Who? Kamsa. He said, I will finish him also, he said. And then he said, I'll finish Krishna Balram, he said. And then he said, Jarasandho Mama Guru, he said. Jarasandha is my favorite guru. Why? Because his 2 daughters were married to me, Hasti and Prapti. So he respects me, I respect him also. I respect Shishupal. I respect Jarasandha. See, we say, birds of the same feather flock together. So Kamsa was flocking with all the Asuric mentality people like that. So when Akrura saw the new chariot, he smiled. Then Kamsa was also very happy that Akrura is now, smiling at the chariot. That means he is happy with me. But Akrura smiled for a different reason. Do you know why he smiled? He thought that this golden chariot is new and it will be offered to Krishna for the first time, like a bhoga offering. He never wanted to see a chariot which is used by Kamsa to be given to Krishna. So Akrura was very happy. I'll go and offer it to Krishna. So Akrura boarded his chariot, and when he was coming to Vrindavan, his mood is very exemplary. You can read that section. I think it is 10th canto, 38th chapter, I think. 38th chapter? 38, no? Yeah, 38th chapter. Akrura entering Vrindavan. Beautiful chapter. I don't have a projector to show today. Otherwise, I would have shown you. You can read it yourself. Mama etadurlavam manya uttama shloka darshanam, he's saying. Mama etadurlavam manya. I think he says that, such darshan of Krishna is so rare for me, he said. I am such a, person surrounded by sinful people like Kamsa. But I am going to get, with my own eyes, I will see Krishna today, he said. And then he also said that what punya have I done in the previous life that Krishna has allowed me to come to Vrindavan. I don't know what good fortune brings me to this abode. Like that he was thinking. And then he thought, when I go to Vrindavan, will Krishna recognize me? Or he will be upset with me that I am working with Kamsa, working with a sinful person like Kamsa. And then he thought very deeply and said, no, Krishna cannot misunderstand anybody. He is in the heart of everybody. He is Antaryami. He will never misunderstand me. I am sure when I go to Vrindavan, Krishna Balram will stand up while milking the cows. They will call me, oh, Uncle Akrura. And my heart will become joyful seeing them calling me as an uncle. And Krishna and Balram will embrace me. And when they would embrace me, I will fall at their feet and cry tears of, repentance for all my sinful reactions I've accumulated all these lifetimes. And then all my sinful reactions will be washed away because of Krishna's touch. Like that he was. See, in this world there are two types of chariots. Manorath. One is material Manorath, spiritual Manorath. Manorath means dreaming. Like we say, daydreaming. Like there was one fellow, he who had a pot shop. Pots? Earthen pots. So he had many, many pots all stacked like this in his shop, and he was sitting and thinking, I will sell all these pots and make a lot of money. And I will marry the most beautiful woman in the town. And I will become so rich that she will want to marry me. And then he said, she has to obey me. If she won't obey, I will take a stick and beat her. So when he bet this way, that way, what happened? All the pots broke down. They all broken to pieces. Then he woke up to see. This is daydreaming. You're sitting in the day and dreaming. So many people actually in this world, they tend to dream a lot, much more than what is happening in their lives. Whatever they cannot get, they keep dreaming about it. This is called the material dream. And spiritual dream is a wonderful dream. Like you see, Akrura is having a spiritual dream. He's thinking, I will go to Vrindavan, I will meet Krishna, I'll fall at his feet, Krishna will embrace me, my sinful reactions will be finished. So this is glorified in the scripture. There was one poor Brahman in South India in a place called Pratishtanapur. Pratishtanapur, very poor Brahman. He didn't have any means to offer anything to Lord. One day he sat by the bank of a river and he was weeping, my dear Lord, I have desired to serve you, but I have no means. I don't have vessels. I want golden vessels, silver vessels to offer you nice eatables. What can I do? So he closed his eyes and started meditating in his mind. And he started thinking about golden pots and silver pots, and he cooked varieties of preparations. He filled them all up. And then when he made a sweet rice, he put his finger to check whether it is hot or cold. It was terribly hot. So his finger became blackish. And he jumped up, opening his eyes. It was really blackish. So seeing this, Lord Vishnu laughed in the Vaikuntha. When Lakshmiji asked, oh Lord, why are you laughing? You please share your joy with me. Then Lord told the story. Then Lakshmi said, Oh, you should definitely bring that Brahman to our abode. So please send a vehicle to bring him back. Immediately Vaikuntha airplane was sent and the Brahmana was brought back to the spiritual world. Why am I telling you this? He was having a spiritual dream. Who? This Pratishthanapur Brahman or even Akrura. These are all spiritual dreams. We call it as a Sampratnatmika, Dainabodhika, Lalasamayi. 3 types of prayers. Sampratnatmika means you are offering a prayer to the Lord. And Dainabodhika means you express your humility to the Lord. How fallen I am. You present yourself. Like Amada Jivan Sada Papirat Ahiko Punyera Lesha. That is Dainabodhika. And third one is called as Lalasamayi Pratana. Lalasamayi means like we sing Tulasi Krishna prayers in that song. Moraye Abhilash Vilas Kunje Diyo Vas Nayane Haribo Sada Yugala Ruparashi. This is Abhilasha, expressing. So this Abhilasha is where the spiritual dreams are thought of by the devotee. We should always think of our prospect. When will that day come in my life? When I will return back home, back to Godhead. I will meet Krishna eye to eye. I will get to see Srimati Radharani and the gopis and the gopas and the cows and the calves and the Yamuna river. And when will I get an opportunity to personally serve Krishna? Like in one song, Narottam Thakur is singing. He's saying, Shama Gauri Ange Devo Chandane Roganda Samaradu Lava Kave Heri Mukha Chandra Radha Krishna Prana Mura Yugala Kishore Jivane Marane Gati Arnahi no. Same way, in this song is expressing, when will the time come when I will take chandan and apply on the dark and the fair forms of Krishna and Radharani's forehead, like that is offering a prayer. So, Akrura's dream became true. Because whatever you are thinking in your mind, what is building up in your mind, that state you will attain sooner or later. Like you will see, like one boy came from the school back, he told his mother, Mom, it is 4 o'clock now, I am going to take some rest. But 5 o'clock I have to go to a movie. Please wake me up. But the mother forgot to wake him up. He got up at 5:30, he jumped up. Now he wasn't sure whether he'll get the ticket or not. But as soon as he got up, immediately he shouted at the mother, you didn't get me up. It's getting late, so immediately ran to the movie now. Now, why he ran to the movie? Because while going to sleep, he had intention to go to movie. So when he got up, he went to movie. Similarly, you will see when we die in one lifetime, we die with certain intentions. And those intentions will take you ahead in the next life. Whatever thoughts accrued. So therefore it is said, you are where your mind is, it is said. If your mind is in Krishna's lotus feet, you are in Vrindavan. If our mind is elsewhere, then we are in that elsewhere place only. So Akrura was surrounded by bad association in Mathura. Bad people like Kamsa, Shishupal, Jarasandha, such kinds of people. But he was like a lotus, unaffected by bad association. Same thing with Bhishma Pitama. He was surrounded by Dushta Chatushtayam, 4 Dushtas. Duryodhan, Dushasan, Shakuni, and Karna. He was surrounded by such people. But did he get spoiled? Bhishma. Even in the battlefield, he is meditating on Krishna's beautiful form and is exchanging love even in a battlefield with Krishna. You can see that. So those people are examples for people who are surrounded by bad company, but they didn't get spoiled. So all of you also have experienced in the modern times, you have to live in the material world, which is surrounded by so many impurities, impure association, but we have to remain like Akrura or remain like Bhishma, keeping ourselves pure. And therefore they could attain Krishna. So why do we come to this place like Vrindavan Dham? Because we want to increase our spiritual strength. From this abode, there is a very powerful spiritual vibration emanating, which you can't see with your eyes. As the Dham is revealed to you more and more, one can experience the presence of not only Krishna or Srimati Radharani, the Gopas, the Gopis, the cows, calves, all the pastimes are happening even now, but it is invisible to our eyes. Just like you don't see X-rays or alpha rays or beta rays or gamma rays, you don't see them. Huh? They are invisible to your eyes, but you know they exist. Correct, no? In the same manner, the whole abode of Vrindavan is manifest with all its finer details. Pastimes are happening at every moment. So, and it will be just like, for example, the flute sound of Krishna cannot be heard unless Balram plows our heart, it is said. So, Guru is Balram. He will plow our heart, purify our heart, then only we can hear the flute sound of Krishna. So, we have not yet become purified fully. So, we don't have access fully. But as we get purified, the access is also more. Just like, for example, if this spectacles, if it is very dusty, then I can't see all of you. When it is, when you take a wet cloth and wipe it, then when it is transparent, then I can see. So we need that prema chakshu. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santas sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Same thing Brahma says. I'm going to conclude my talk with one very quick short story and then we will proceed tomorrow. Right here in Vrindavan, there is one temple called Banki Bihari. Very famous temple. Very old temple, very famous temple. If you go to the temple, it will be always thronged by thousands of people. Very famous temple it is. So the altar will be repeatedly closed and opened by the pujari, because pujari says that earlier Banki Bihari had run away with some devotee. So they are very worried that nobody should attract the Lord so badly that they will take away the Lord from there. So they keep closing and opening very frequently. So one day, as usual, Banki Bihari temple was very crowded with a lot of devotees. So one very rich merchant entered the temple. At that time, one blind man, a devotee, was going out to the temple. They both had hit each other unknowingly. They both fell to the ground. So the merchant became very angry, that Jamindar. He looked at this blind man and said, "Are you blind? Why are you coming and hitting me?" And the blind man said, "Sorry, sir, I'm actually blind," he said. Still that anger didn't appease. He told him, "If you are blind, what business you have in the temple? Why don't you just sit at home? You are coming to the temple and hitting the people and making them fall, and you are also falling." Like that he said. So to that, the blind man said, "Sir, I don't come to temple to see the Lord, because I can't see the Lord with my eyes. But I am coming to temple to give attendance to the Lord. Daily attendance, hazar. Daily I will come. I will stand in front of him, and I am very confident that if Lord's glance falls on me, I will be immensely benefited." And then he said, just like a mother in the kitchen, there is one eye in the cooking and another eye is on the child. You have seen that? Every mother keeps that. So he said, for a child, the mother's glance is always needed for protection. Similarly, I also feel that Krishna's glance on me is for my purification and protection. Therefore, I come to temple, he said. Not only that, when I come to temple, Sadhu Mahatmas, they speak some nice thing which falls in my ears, and it keeps ringing in my ears all day. Some nice pastime I heard, I keep remembering their instructions. And I am sure that will also purify me. When he spoke like this, the Jamindar felt ashamed. He told him, "You are not blind, I am actually blind," he said. Because you appear blind, but you are internally awakened. Spiritually, you are awakened. I am externally having eyes, but spiritually, I am a dullard. I am a dull head. So, devotees, this is the main point. We have to become internally awakened to the truths that we learn in Srila Prabhupada's books, and we have heard from our spiritual master, and the knowledge which we have been accumulating. We should not mechanically read the books, but we read the books with the intention to meet Krishna. And also, gradually as we become more and more sincere, when the eyes of sense gratification are replaced by eyes of prema, love for the Lord. So, there is a avidya chakshu. Avidya. Avidya means what? Ignorance. Avidya chakshu, jnana chakshu, prema chakshu. Like Shukadeva Goswami had jnana chakshu. And Saubhari Muni had avidya chakshu, so he fell down. And Haridas Thakur had prema chakshu. So we want to have a prema chakshu, eyes of love tinged with salve of love, so we can see the dham, the sweet abode of Vrindavan. By the mercy of all the acharyas, we'll be able to properly see it in the right perspective. So on this beginning day, of course, it's not at the beginning day. Tomorrow is the beginning day. Today, many of you have arrived today early, so only Gopinath Poo and the team of seniors, they told me to speak to all of you today. But tomorrow, many more devotees will arrive here. This is the first time our Hyderabad temple devotees have organized such a big yatra. They told me they generally go for yatra with 150 or 300, 350 max. They go like that. This time they have organized a yatra for 1200 devotees, which is really a miracle, not a very easy thing. And the team of devotees, we will be introducing them to you. The last day, they will come to the stage. You can see who they are. Just about 5-6 of them, they have worked very hard, fixing accommodation places for you, arranging your prasadam, and planning for the buses to take you to different places in the morning. Because many of you have come for the first time. You will see in the morning time, you will hear a lecture by Vishwarup Prabhu, probably around 1.5 to 2 hours. Then he will take you to different places. You'll go around and see things. You'll come back for the lunch. And then after lunch prasad, the afternoon time, 2 to 5, you have some time, 2-3 hours with you. What can you do in that time? You can try to identify those devotees in your life with whom you have a good opportunity to connect and grow in your spiritual life. You can meet them, make friendships with them. That's the best time for you, afternoon time, after prasad, post prasad. And then evening again, we have 5 to 8. We have kirtan, we have lecture, we also have Damodar Arati at the end. We have 8:15. We want to actually wind up the day by 8:15, latest 8:15, because then we will be able to rise early in the morning. And we are going to have Mangalarti also here. They made such a beautiful altar. We have Radha Madan Mohan, we have Shil Prabhupada, we have Radha Damodar. Yeah, I'm very amazed at their capacity to organize such a big yatra. Not a very easy thing. We will thank them with one loud Haribol for them. Haribol! His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he brings a yatra with 7,000 devotees. It's a very huge thing, organizes every year. But this year we could not have it. Because they told me that 1 year in advance you have to book all the halls and everything. Gaurang Prabhu said they couldn't do it. But next year, definitely Kartik time, there'll be big yatra next time. But still, we didn't cancel the yatra and we are not sitting in Hyderabad. We have come here to the holy abode. I am a very tiny dust in the lotus feet of His Holiness Radhanath Swami. I cannot describe the pastimes, the way sweetly he describes. But one of the good news for you, you only have to tolerate me in the evening, but morning you will get Vishwarup Prabhu. With a very mature and very senior devotee. He came to Krishna consciousness way back in 1986. And he has been with His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj personally from the very early days. And he lived in Vrindavan also several years, probably 5 to 10 years he lived in Vrindavan. In those days, Chowpatty temple had one property here. For taking care of that property, he lived here. And then later on, he started bringing the Bhaktivedanta hospital doctors for the Barsana eye camp. So he became very close to Vijayabasis in Barsana. So he himself has become like one of the covered men of Vrindavan, just like we say Dinabandhu Prabhu. So he knows he is soaked in Brajabhava. Even I also want to come with all of you to join his tour in the morning along with his lectures. For me, he is like my elder god brother. He is most respectable for me also. And because he was coming, I was also confident. If somebody tells me to take yatra alone, I won't be able to. Because the morning, all the different places, he knows very well, very deeply. So that is our good fortune. We have, so I was ready for a collaborative yatra. So this kind of lecture is easy for me and to give from the scriptures. But he knows many places in and out in Vrindavan. So let us have a very nice time from tomorrow. My request to all of you, don't keep awake till 11 o'clock. Go to bed early, daily. Sleep early and get up early. What is the time now? Today is little late. We will leave you early tomorrow onwards, okay? Shri Prabhupada ki, Bhakta Vrinda ki, Vrindavan Dham ki. Ananda Rupam Lasakandalam Kule Brahmanam Lasakandalam Kule Brahmanam Namameshwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasatkandalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashodadhiyo Dukhaladhavamanam Paramrishtamatyantam Dodrutya Gopya Paramrishtamatyantam Dudantam Maharnetram Yugmam Rajantam Karam Bhoja Yugmera Satam Kanekram Mohashvatakam Patrirekantantha Sitagraivam Damadaram Bhaktivadham Yati Driksvale Radhe Aranda Kulle Svaghosham Dimajantam Akyapayantam Yati Driksvale Radhe Yadiyeshi Kageshu Bhaktairhitatvam Puna Prematastam Sakavritti Ranje Paramaksham Namakshavadeva Nakanyam Vrinehava Reshadapiha Niranteva Purnatha Gopalavalam Sadameva Natyavirastam Gimanyai Edam te mukam bhojam Atyantanilai Vritam kuntalai Siddharattaischa gopya Edam te mukam bhojam Muhurtam vitam bimbaratadaram Manasya virastam dakshayabhare Namo Deva Namo Gararanta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukha Jaladimagyanam कृपादृष्टिरेख्यातीरं बतानं गृहणेशमामज्ञं वेद्यक्षिदृश्यः भुवैरात्मनो बद्ध मोत्यैव यद्वत् त्वया मोचितो भक्ति भाजो कृतौ च दाता प्रेम भक्तिं स्वतां मे प्रयच्छ नमोक्षयग्रहो मेऽस्ति दामोदरे नमस्ते तुदाम्य सुरते वेदाम्ये त्वदियोदरायाथ विश्वजगाने नमो राधिकायै त्वदीयाप्रियायै नमो राधिकायै त्वदीयाप्रियायै नमो रक्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं नमो रक्तलीलाय नमो रक्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं नमः सच्चिदानन्दरूपं सत्कुण्डलं गोकुले विराजमानं हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे Hare Hare. श्री राधा दामोदर भगवान की, श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की, श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर की, श्री श्री गौरनिताय की, श्री प्रभुपाद की, वृंदावन धाम की, समावेत भक्त वृंद की, कार्तिक मास व्रत की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल।